Serbian medieval history is full of gaps. There is not enough information available. Often Serbian historians have to speculate and guess. Let's see the problem of succession. King Milutin ruled Serbia between 1282 and 1321. I would describe him as Serbian Henry VIII. His private life was beyond messy. Instead of beheading his wives, he just sent them to the monasteries. We don't even know how many times he was married. He might have been married 3, 4, or 5 times. His eldest son was Stefan. Stefan founded Dečani monastery and was nicknamed Dečanski. We don't know the name of Stefan's mother. Serbian historians believe she was Jelena, Serbian noblewoman. This is strange because Serb kings always married foreigners. Some Western historians think Stefan was illegitimate. Epic poetry presents Stefan as a tragic figure. His own father wanted to steal his birthright. Milutin blinded his son Stefan. This was done to remove Stefan from succession to the throne. Blind or disabled person couldn't rule in Serbia. Milutin's brother, Dragutin, had to abdicate after he injured his leg in hunting. If Stefan was illegitimate, then there was no need to blind him. Illegitimate children cannot inherit the throne. Milutin never behaved as if Stefan was illegitimate. Sources mention that Milutin wanted to leave the throne to his youngest son, Constantin. What are the evidence for Stefan's illegitimacy? The mystery of Stefan's mother. If she was from noble family, we would know more about her. There would be mention of her family. Milutin was ambitious. He wouldn't marry simple noblewomen. He made political alliances through marriages. Milutin's preference of Constantin. If Milutin disliked Stefan so much, Milutin could have left the throne to Stefan's son. Stefan's son Dusan was already born. But if Stefan was illegitimate, then Dusan had no right to the throne. Milutin's only option would have been Constantin. Milutin's lack of other sons. One could argue that Stefan was treated as prince because there were no other sons. Stefan was at least 7 years older than Constantin. Milutin died in 1321. Civil war broke between Stefan, Constantin and their cousin Vladislav II. Vladislav II was the son of Dragutin. In 1322, Constantin was killed in a battle. Stefan Dečanski became Serbian king. Serb sources take Stefan's side. One might say the history is written by the winners. Who would dare to describe Stefan as usurper? His eyesight was miraculously returned. Stefan's son and grandson later ruled Serbia. None of them had reason to question Stefan's legitimacy. Now let's see the evidence of Stefan's legitimacy. Stefan was born before Milutin became king. As youngest son, Milutin had more freedom in choosing spouse. Getting foreign princess for youngest son was complicated. It would be easier for Milutin to marry Serb noblewoman. Serb sources never call Stefan legitimate. Stefan's role during Milutin's reign. In his youth, Stefan was sent as hostage to Nogai Khan of the Golden Horde. This was done to maintain the peace between the Serbs and Tatars. Only legitimate children were sent as hostages. illegitimate children were useless as hostages. At one point, Stefan was appointed as governor of Zeta. Milutin would never give illegitimate son such important duty. Milutin's disastrous private life. Stefan's mother was overshadowed by later scandals. Contemporary sources were more interested in Milutin's later antics. Dante Alighieri put Milutin in hell in his Divine Comedy. He earned his place for counterfeiting Venetian money. Milutin's last wife, Simonida, was only 5 years old when they married. Serb historians want to believe Milutin treated Simonida as a daughter. Byzantine sources tell otherwise. In Milutin's defense, he only asked for Byzantine princess' hand in marriage. There were 2 princesses available. Adult princess refused to marry Milutin. Simonida was married off to Milutin. Milutin's personality. In 1314, Milutin and Stefan quarreled. Stefan was exiled and blinded. Milutin showed ruthlessness before. In 1299, Milutin divorced his longtime wife Anna to marry Simonida. This was done for purely political reasons. Bulgarian Princess Anna was seen as expendable. Milutin would be capable of exiling and blinding his heir. Stefan was seen as expendable. Stefan's marriage. Stefan married Bulgarian Princess Theodora. Illegitimate sons couldn't marry princesses. Because of the lack of sources, we can only speculate. Even though I do believe Stefan was legitimate, I wouldn't be shocked to learn otherwise. Can there be a breakthrough discovery? In the last 150 years, there were no major new discoveries. Medieval sources are very limited. All manuscripts were studied. We can only change interpretation. The problem is how to deal with Milutin and Stefan. They were both canonized by the Church. Existing historical sources are often contradicting. One source says Milutin had no children with his first 3 wives. Hungarian Princess Elizabeth and Bulgarian Princess Anna are potential mothers of Stefan. Only Simonida is ruled out as Stefan's mother. Simonida was much younger than Stefan. Only God knows what the truth is.